Time to get around the grounds now on BBC Two and on the BBC HD channel. The latest match reports with Mark Chapman and final score.
Relegation. He was one of the heroes of the afternoon. Applause from the away supporters. Go! The latest score is Wimbledon. Go through to the Premier. John Terry's tears, we all remember. It was a crucial week.
Hello and welcome to Final Score, and it's a special Final Score today with Dietmar Hamann making his debut in the studio this afternoon. It would be rude to ask when Garth made his debut on the show. Let's bring you right up to speed with what is happening right now, this very moment in the Premier League. Some very interesting scores around. Chelsea, a couple of goals up on Bolton. David Luiz and Didier Drogba after half-time for Andre Villas-Boas's men. Terry Connor's Wolves are showing a tremendous amount of fight in the game in the northeast. They've grabbed 2 second-half goals after Papi Cisse and Jonas Gutierrez appeared to have the host cruising at the break. All eyes are on Mark Hughes at Loftus Road, but it's Pavel Pogrebniak who gave Fulham an early lead against their West London neighbours. QPR also down to 10 men after Samba Diakite's first half sending off. West Brom 3-0 up on Sunderland. Oh, excuse me. Oh dear, so excited. And it's goalless between Wigan and Aston Villa. I tell you what, whilst I try not to choke, let's go to Stamford Bridge. Jonathan Ledyard watching Chelsea Bolton. Water, Garth, water. Oh, you are kidding me. He's not even there. Where is he? I tell you what, let's go to Newcastle Wolves. Steve Sutton.
Yes, it's Newcastle 2, Wolves 2. After the first half, an unlikely looking scoreline that. Newcastle were 2 up inside 20 minutes. Cisse with a goal on 5, then Gutierrez with a screamer on 18 and apparently coasting, but there were warning signs. And in this second half, Matt Jarvis and Kevin Doyle have made it 2-2 and all to play for.
Loads and loads of incident at Loftus Road. Damien Johnson at QPR against Fulham.
Yep, 10-man QPR behind, and again they daren't lose. Pavel Pogrebniak scored the goal that's put Fulham in control here, his second in successive games. Rangers debutant Samba Diakite was sent off for a second yellow in the first half. Rangers have impressed after the interval, but found the visitors resolute at the back. Jamie Mackie went close after a lovely move from the home side. Fulham may not have matched QPR bosses Mark Hughes' managerial ambitions, but his former side is beating his current one.
15 for the season for Bradley Wright Phillips now, and the League One leaders Charlton 2-0 up on Stevenage. Cheltenham go for promotion out of League Two, increased their lead over Burton Albion. Jermaine McGlashan with that goal, and a big shock in the Championship. Millwall 3-0 up. Harry Kane on loan from Spurs has given Millwall their third against Burnley. Back to the Premier League. Ivan Gaskell watching a comprehensive performance from West Brom against Sunderland.
Yes, Martin O'Neill's honeymoon has been long and blissfully happy, but it's well and truly over now. Indeed, it's ended in tears and no doubt a rather sizable tantrum too along the way. West Brom ahead in 2 minutes and they haven't looked back. Peter Odemwingie with 2, that's 5 in 2 games. Morrison the other. Thomas hit the bar. Fortune unfortunate as Turner cleared his shot off the line. It took 57 minutes for Sunderland to even call West Brom keeper Foster into action. Sunderland haven't turned up. Many of their fans wish they hadn't. Indeed, they've been leaving in their droves for the last 15 minutes, which is exactly how long we have left. West Brom 3, Sunderland 0.
OK, we're going to go straight to the DW Stadium next. It's goalless between Wigan and Aston Villa, but Richard Askham, there's some worrying news for Villa and their fans.
Yes, absolutely, and possibly for England as well. Darren Bent has been down for some time, Chappers. It looked like a fairly innocuous challenge from Antolin Alcaraz. I think it was maybe when Darren Bent landed, it's either an ankle or a knee. I think it's his ankle. It looks as though the physio has been working around the area of his left ankle. He doesn't look in a good way at all. The stretcher is just coming on now, and we can only hope that the injury isn't as serious as it looks. As I say, it wasn't, I don't think, the collision. I think it was the way that he landed awkwardly after sort of going up in the air after the challenge with Alcaraz. Another worry for Villa, Chappers, because it's Wigan who've been the side pressing, certainly in this second half. Real roll your sleeves up determination being shown from the home side without the finesse so far to break through. They've thrown on Hugo Rodallega up front this half alongside Franco Di Santo, Emil Heskey and Stephen Ireland, and probably another substitute. Looks like Charles Nzogbia, the former Wigan player, who's going to come on for Darren Bent. So they're taking chances as well of Villa. Darren Bent had the best opportunity of the match, Chappers, clean through. Lovely ball from Robbie Keane, but it was well saved by Ali Al-Habsi. No goals here. Darren Bent still receiving treatment.
Thank you very much. Right, let's return to Stamford Bridge. Jonathan Ledyard didn't rescue me from when I was choking on air earlier. Let's see if he's there now.
You can cope. You're experienced. I wonder if Fernando Torres is going to cope. Here's a chance now for Lampard. It is! It's 3-0 for Frank Lampard. Restored to the side, captain for the day. And that's a sensational finish. Tucks it in. It's the 150th goal in his Chelsea career. And he's the first player, I can tell you, I'm getting Mortiesque here, aren't I, to notch double figures in 9 successive seasons. It was simple, but he had to be in the right place at the right time. Torres is on. Drogba is the man to give way, having scored the second goal. Luis made it 1-0. Chelsea are happy. Are we going to see an Abramovich smile? Can't see one at the moment.
So Lampard's back. They've had Drogba back. They're both on the score sheet. Does that tell us anything, Didier?
Happy days. It's all good now. It's a decent performance. Workmanlike. They found it hard to break him down in the first half. Great ball from Mata here. Good finish from Lampard. As I said, they're still in all competitions. This 1 or 2 results can change the whole season. And if they were to go through against Birmingham, if they beat Napoli, I think if they win the next 1 or 2 games, I think they've got every chance to knock out Napoli.
But I've got to say to you, the lineup, the starting lineup, I thought looked like a Chelsea side, a proper Chelsea side with Essien in midfield, Lampard back in midfield, Cole and Ivanovic as the full-backs. You had Mata, Drogba and Sturridge up front. It looked a comfortable, composed, structured Chelsea side, and they've gone about their game today very professionally.
What a season for Ricky Lambert. 3 today, a hat-trick. That gives him 23 for the season, 19 in the league. And Jackie Oatley, his side, are going top of the Championship this evening.
They are, with some style as well. Ricky Lambert with his first goal in this half. 2 goals in the first half, all very different goals, but this time from the penalty spot. He drove the ball high into the top left-hand corner. Absolutely no chance for Thomas Kuszczak, who's had a pretty unhappy debut on loan from Manchester United. Dickinson brought down Tadanari Lee after the goalkeeper Kuszczak had just saved from Lee, and then that allowed Lampard to... Lambert, just talking about Lampard, to drive the ball into the top left-hand corner. It has been pretty much all Southampton throughout this match. They've rarely been under threat, though. In the second half, there's a half chance for Deeney, who hooked the ball over the bar. Watford 0, Southampton 3. Dunfermline
will be staying bottom of the SPL. They're 3-1 down against St Johnstone. Lee Croft with that goal. Robert Love has scored his 7th of the season in Scottish Division 2. Albion back on level terms with Forfar. Also in that division, Dumbarton leads Stirling by 3-1. Back to the Championship, where earlier West Ham were held to a goalless draw by Crystal Palace. Birmingham are at home to Nottingham Forest this afternoon, and they're struggling, Andrew James.
Yes, Mark, quite a surprise on the cards here. It's Birmingham 1, Nottingham Forest 2. Birmingham, of course, unbeaten in 15 before this. They hadn't conceded in 4, and Nottingham Forest's dismal record this season is well documented. But the man who's made the difference is Dexter Blackstock. He was out for 15 months with dreadful injury, a leg injury, broken leg, all the repercussions from that. But he's forced his way back in the last couple of games into the starting lineup, and he scored 2 fantastic goals for Forest today. Chris Burke got a Birmingham equaliser, but Blackstock's second was an absolute beauty, and the fans at St Andrews aren't happy. Birmingham 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Birmingham 1, Nottingham Forest 2, Mark.
We got there in the end. And that means that Reading could go third this evening if they win at Middlesbrough, where they were a goal up. But, Paul Addison, there's been a second.
And it was a great goal as well for Reading. They're now 2-0 up and cruising here at the Riverside. Ian Hart, how many times has he done this in his long career? Free kick around 20 yards out. Beautiful left-footed shot. It beat Jason Steele. All ends up in the Middlesbrough goal. Reading then 2-0 up here. They've become specialists at winning 1-0 in recent weeks. They're going for their 5th straight win. They are absolutely on fire at Brian McDermott's side, and Middlesbrough have little to offer in response. Noel Hunt scored the first one in the first half, and Ian Hart has just got what could turn out to be the winner. Reading leading 2-0.
Looks like Keith Curle can make it 2 wins out of 2 since taking over Notts County, because they've gone a goal up against Chesterfield, who could be bottom of League One this evening. Jonathan Forte, 10 minutes from time. Back to the Championship. Bristol City against Blackpool. Hamish Marshall.
1-1 here. Blackpool, the comeback kings in the Championship. They were poor in the first half, but have been much better since Thomas Ince's controversially awarded free kick was deflected home. He was denied a second by David James with a fantastic save and fired another powerful effort just over. Bristol City had led through John Stead's first goal of the season, but they didn't convert decent chances to double the advantage. We've got 7 minutes left and it's 1-1.
Dominic Blizzard has equalised for Yeovil. That's their 500th league goal. 8 minutes from time at Brunton Park. Carlisle 2, Yeovil 2. Northampton have got one back against Port Vale. Their top scorer, Adebayo Akinfenwa, has got that. 9 minutes to go there for Adi Boothroyd's men to rescue it. And next we're going to go to Brighton, where Mark Bishop has seen, apparently, the goal of the day.
Absolutely unbelievable, chappers. You can watch it on the Football League show tonight. Brighton and Hove Albion lead Ipswich Town by 2-0, and they'll be rightly talking about Craig McCall-Smith's goal for many years to come, surely, down here on this part of the south coast. Gordon Greer, the Brighton captain, edge of his D. He saw Will Buckley out on the right, sent a 40-yard pass out to Buckley, took it down in his right boot as if he had a piece of Velcro attached, took it to the byline, put in an arrow-like cross, and Craig McCall-Smith on his 28th birthday, smashing the ball into the back of the Ipswich Town net. Real Roy of the Rovers stuff. After that, it was all Brighton, dazzling pass and move football. Ipswich all over the place, and a very good Ipswich side too, remember, coming into this game on the back of 4 successive league wins. Ashley Barnes, he got a goal to make it 2-0 to Brighton after, again, lovely pass and move. This time Liam Bridcut putting Barnes away. Ipswich totally bemused. Brighton playing keep ball, exhibition stuff as we go towards full time. It's Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Ipswich Town 0.
Morecambe have now scored in 11 straight league games. Jordan Burrow, with 15 minutes to go, has put them ahead against promotion-chasing Southend. Sammy Moore's 5th of the season has given Wimbledon hope at Crewe. They're now 3-2 down. Kilmarnock have got one back against Hibs through Dean Shields. 10th of the season, but Hibs looking as though they're going to get their second win in 16 league games. And as you can see at Ashton Gate, things have turned round. Hamish Marshall.
Yeah, it's Bristol City 1, Blackpool 2, and have Blackpool completed the comeback? Awful in the first half. They're now on course for 3 points. Thomas Ince stooping low at the back post from across from the left-hand side for his second goal. He's making a name for himself, this lad. It's a name you may remember at some stage in the future. Ince is the name. He's got 2 goals for Blackpool here.
Hereford have only ever picked up maximum points at Valley Parade twice, but it looks like they're going to do it for a third time, doesn't it? 8 minutes to go there, and Byron Anthony has put Jamie Pittman's side ahead. Bradford 0, Hereford 1. Back to the Championship. Portsmouth against Leeds. Goalless last time we spoke to Tony Husband.
Still goalless, Mark. Two sides with big days, really. Portsmouth fighting for their existence, of course, and they've got a big crowd in to support them today in administration and in the relegation zone, having lost 10 points, of course. And Neil Warnock ranting and raving, as lively as ever on the sidelines. On the pitch, Portsmouth seem to have a blatant penalty ruled out in the first half. Phil Gibbs, the referee, ruling that Tom Rees didn't appear to handle the ball in the box. In the second half, Ross McCormack for Leeds shot right off the underside of the crossbar. Looked like it had gone over the line. He turned away and celebrated, but it in fact wasn't given. And when Snodgrass put the ball in from the rebound, he was ruled offside. At the other end, George Thorne denied by Andy Lonergan. We've got 10 minutes to play, still goalless.
Into the SPL earlier on, it finished St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 1. Rangers play tomorrow against Inverness Cally Thistle. This afternoon, it's the leaders against third. Ian Turner watching Celtic Motherwell.
Yeah, with 5 minutes remaining, Celtic 1, Motherwell 0. And the Celtic fans who are staying here in their tens of thousands don't know whether to get ready to celebrate or just get a wee bit nervous, because it's just at that stage at 1-0. Motherwell looking for the victory. There's no doubt about that. They've been rather defensive when they've come here in the past under Stuart McCall's reign, but they've gone for the win today. They've been hit with the sucker punch from a fine take from Gary Cooper on the hour mark that gave Celtic the lead. It's been a good game, and Celtic just wanting to see out the remaining 4.5 minutes to keep that league record run going.
Not many goals in the Premier League since we came on to BBC Two, but they're flying in at Ashton Gate. Back to Hamish Marshall.
2 and 2 minutes for Blackpool. Game over here. The comeback really is complete. Kevin Phillips volleying in from close range to give Blackpool a 3-1 lead, and that's going to be 26 points from losing positions this season. Blackpool really are the comeback kings. It's almost all over here in terms of results. I think it is. Bristol City 1, Blackpool 3.
12 in the league now for Kevin Phillips, 13 in the season, and we're going to go to the Galfile next. Simon Grayson's debut as Huddersfield manager. There's been another goal, Adam Pope.
And guess who scored it? Jordan Rhodes has made it 2-0 to Town, chipping off the underside of the bar for his 30th of the season. Two majestic finishes on a day where Huddersfield are celebrating the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. The first, Jamie McComb's header in the first half, and now Rhodes with his inevitable goal. Town 2 up. Great start for Grayson.
Fleetwood are going to be 5 points clear at the top of the conference as things stand this afternoon. They're 4-0 up on Alfreton Town. Wrexham in second are losing at Diddy's old club, Stockport. Stockport 1, Wrexham 0 this afternoon. From the conference to the Premier League, where it was nearly 3-2 Newcastle. Nearly, not quite, Steve Sutton.
Yes, very nearly about the width of a coat of paint off the post. Newcastle's Hatem Ben Arfa, second half substitute, came on just after the hour, cut inside, just outside the box, unleashed a left footer, and as I say, just a fraction past the post, but it remains 2-2.
And if it had gone in, you'd have been very angry, Garth.
Yeah, because I think Wolves have worked incredibly hard, and it's been very interesting watching Terry Connor's changes and his tactics. And a feature of the game, if it remains if the scoreline remains the same, is Kevin Doyle stayed on. He's refused to bring Eubank Blake on. You'd think that Doyle had run out of steam, but I just wonder when he talked about yesterday about doing things differently. Mick McCarthy dropped Doyle, and out of that came, I think, a lack of confidence. He's persevered with Doyle. He could have scored a hat-trick. He scored one, was involved in another, and he's been probably their man of the match. It's just been very interesting to see his style of play as opposed to Mick McCarthy's. It's been invigorating in parts, but they've still got to get the result.
If you weren't with us earlier, the other thing that Terry Connor did earlier on was drop Roger Johnson. Roger Johnson not playing this afternoon, the Wolves centre-half and captain. Back to the Championship. Mark Bishop at Brighton, you've seen another goal.
It's going to be a very, very long way back for the Ipswich fans. Over 2,500 here, chappers, away to my right. They've just seen Brighton inflict more misery. Another wonderfully worked goal. This time, Ashley Barnes backing a brace. It was all 1-2 football. Mikhail Smith, Barnes, Navarro, Razak. And there was Barnes rounding the goalkeeper to smash the ball into the back of the Ipswich Town net. All this after Barnes had bagged his first goal after a great ball from Bridcut. And the crowd still, of course, basking in the afterglow of that first goal from Craig McCall-Smith, latching on the edge of a 6-yard box after a 40-yard board out onto the right-hand side to Buckley, who whipped in that arrow-like cross to get the goals underway. Albion unbeaten in the league in 2012. Ipswich have come into this one 4 successive league victories. They've been overturned today by an excellent Brighton side who are going to win by 3-0.
Tell you what, there is a very nasty-looking tackle by Shola Amiobi on Wayne Hennessy, the Wolves keeper. We'll go to St James's Park shortly, but we're going to go to the Hawthorns. West Brom not great at home until today, Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, their first win at home in the Premier League since mid-November, and it's 4-0 now too. Keith Andrews has just wrapped up a fabulous afternoon for the home side. That's 9 goals in the last 2 games. They've come alive as West Brom, and at last their home fans have seen them turn in something special against a Sunderland side. Well, it was said at half-time that this was the worst display since the dark days of Steve Bruce. Martin O'Neill has some work to do. 4-0.
Dundee United looking for their 5th straight win against Hearts, and it looks like they're going to get it at Tynecastle by 2 goals still. Bradford have got a late equaliser against Hereford. David Sayers with that goal 2 minutes from time, and there's been a late goal at the Rico. Steve Lee.
Coventry 1, Barnsley 0, just when Coventry looked like they were running out of ideas. They've had a barrage of chances in this second half. Clive Platt, their tall striker, has headed in from close range. We're playing added time now. Coventry had so many chances in the second half. Barnsley barely mustered a single one. Now Clive Platt looks like he's got a very important 3 points for struggling Coventry. Coventry 1, Barnsley 0.
Going to go to Loftus Road next. QPR down to 10 men and a goal down against Fulham. Can they get a late equaliser? Damien Johnson.
They've been better in this second half, Chappers, but there is still no sign of an equaliser because Fulham have got the ball and they're keeping it down the Queen's Park Rangers end of the ground. Dixon Atuhu had a great chance racing clear but fired wide. That would have made the game safe for Fulham. The clock is ticking here, and Queen's Park Rangers, if they lose, as it looks like they will do, are in trouble.
Shay Given just kept Aston Villa in it at the DW Stadium. Richard Askham.
Yes, an excellent save. Di Santo just inside the box on the left-hand side. Got it onto his right foot. It was heading into the bottom corner, and a very good save. Low down to his right-hand side by Shay Given. Wigan have a corner taken by Beausejour. Swung in left-footed. The heads go up, and it is cleared away by Villa, and there's a foul in the box anyway. But it's Wigan who've been pressing, Chappers. They just can't find that breakthrough.
So 7 minutes of injury time then at the DW Stadium. Are Newcastle lucky that they're not down to 10 men, Garth?
Yes. I think Shola Hamiomi should think himself very, very lucky indeed to sit on the field. The ball breaks free. It's now a 50-50 between Hennessy, the Wolves goalkeeper, and Shola Hamiomi. He goes in with 1 foot. I think, perhaps he doesn't leave the ground. I think it's reckless. A lot of players come round, there's a lot of talking, but he gets away with it. He's very lucky, in my opinion.
It's one of those, Diddy, isn't it? Hennessy goes to clear it. If you go in to block it and you're even fractionally late, it doesn't look great.
Well, you can block it, but you've got to stay on your feet. If you dive in, show your studs, and he's a split second late. And I think the lucky of the two is Hennessy, because he could have easily been badly hurt here. Shola Hamiomi should have gone. It had to be a red card. Walton only booked him. They're lucky to still be 11 men on the pitch.
Oh. Late goal for Carlisle. Francois Zoko has got them what looks like a winner at home to Yeovil. It's his 11th of the season, his 10th in the league. Final whistles going up and down the country.
Continue for Bolton. Interesting to watch David Luiz. He's been milking the applause throughout, almost as if he's been stung by what happened in midweek. Leading the crowd on his side. Well, certainly he's got 3 points, and hopefully the crowd with him for the moment. 3-0 Chelsea.
Christian Jolly, 7th of the season, has got a late point for AFC Wimbledon at Crewe. It's 3-all there. No such close scoreline at the Hawthorns. Marcel O'Neill shaking hands with Roy Hodgson after a thumping for Sunderland, Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, West Brom's first Premier League win at the Hawthorns since November the 19th, and richly deserved it was too. Peter Odemwingie set the tone in 2 minutes and later added a second. Morrison's header, the meat in the sandwich, and extending the food analogy just a little longer, Keith Andrews provided the icing to West Brom's cake late on with his finish, but really it was over well before then. Martin O'Neill's first setback as Sunderland manager since his messianic arrival, for today, at least for the Sunderland fans who were drifting off home in their dozens long before the end. He's not the Messiah, he's a rather naughty boy.
Thank you very much, Ivan. Speaking of naughty boys, a red card at QPR and a disagreement there at the end between Martin Jol and Mark Hughes. What went on, Damien Johnson?
Yeah, there was a bit of a confrontation down there on the pitch. Feelings running high, obviously. No joy for Queen's Park Rangers boss Mark Hughes in the West London grudge match. The visitors had it won in the first half. Pavel Pogrebniak rounded Paddy Kenny to notch his second goal in as many games. Rangers' uphill struggle became even steeper when debutant Samba Diakite was sent off for a second yellow. Hughes wielded the half-time stick and Rangers improved. Bobby Zamora was quiet against his former club, but Jamie Mackey fired wide after a lovely move, and Mark Schwarzer saved to deny Sean Wright-Phillips, that after a fine double save from the Fulham keeper in the first half. The visitors defended resolutely and deserved their win Rangers' pride hurt and their Premier League survival prospects severely damaged.
Pride hurt, survival prospects damaged, but Mark Hughes has got a bit of history of losing his cool when it comes to handshakes at the end of a game.
Yeah, it happened with Tony Pulis a couple of seasons ago, and there was no need for it because the game was played in the right manner. It was a fair game. They got beat fair and square. They improved in the second half, but apart from the Sean Wright-Phillips chance, they never really threatened the Fulham goal. And obviously they've got their backs to the wall now because it won't get any easier. Another home defeat, another sending off.
Falling.
And obviously we don't want to see that behaviour. You know, you shake hands. If you win, lose or draw, you shake hands and get on with it.
Particularly in the current climate, I think it's appalling. Yeah. If you're a manager, you're entitled to be disappointed, angry because you've lost, but there's no need not to be unprofessional.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend another final score talking about handshakes, though. I refuse to do that. Final whistles going everywhere, but not yet at the keep moat, and there's been a late goal, Harry Gratian.
A £1 million goal as well from Tyrone Barnett. Lovely header, it has to be said. It was beautifully taken. But for Doncaster, this is twice this has happened. Remember, they lost to Leeds in the 98th minute. This goal was scored in the 93rd. This time, though, it's an equaliser, 1-1.
Yeah, Tyrone Barnett is on loan from Crawley, but £1 million will be paid for his permanent transfer at the end of the season. Here at St James's Park, what a week it's been for that man, and what an afternoon for Terry Connor. His Wolves side have fought back to get a point at Newcastle. Steve Sutton.
Yes, a wave to the crowd and a big smile from Terry Connor, and well he might. Newcastle 2, Wolves 2. After 20-odd minutes of the first half, it looked as if it was a bad day for Wolves. Newcastle were leading by 2-0. Cisse on 5, Gutierrez inside 20 minutes, but that wasn't the full story. Doyle could have had 2 in that first half, but didn't. Then soon after the restart of the second half, Matt Jarvis got one back, and then just after the hour, Kevin Doyle finally put one over the line from close range. That made it 2-2. Ben Arfa came close just past the post on a couple of occasions just before the end. Shola Amiobi perhaps lucky to stay on the pitch with a 50-50 ball, studs up tackle on Wayne Hennessy. But what a day for battling Wolves. Newcastle 2, Wolves 2.
Points are shared at St James's Park, also shared at Wigan this afternoon. Richard Askham.
Yes, Chappers, the Wigan Rugby League legend and match winner Billy Boston was sitting just behind the press box here at the DW, and it was the lack of a finisher of his class with the round ball that was the home side's Achilles heel once again. The Latics bossed the bulk of possession, but even with Rodder Jaeger, Moses and DeSanto thrown up together, couldn't find a breakthrough. DeSanto almost did late on, but was denied by an excellent save from Shea Given. Villa, who lost Darren Bent to a worrying-looking injury, had a couple of good chances themselves. The best of them went to the England man, clean through. His shot was well saved by Ali Al-Habsi. Under pressure, Villa manager Alex McLeish, probably the happier of the two managers with a share of the spoils.
Into the Championship next. Reading have now won 5 on the spin in that division. Paul Addison has seen them beat Middlesbrough.
And they did it at a canter here, Mark, at the Riverside. 5 clean sheets on the bounce of Brian McDermott's side. Reading are absolutely on fire at the moment. Their manager signed a new contract in midweek. His players did him proud here on Teesside this afternoon. Noel Hunt scored the opening goal, his 5th of the season, when his shot went in off a post from a corner that Borough just couldn't clear on 17 minutes. But the best was saved for the 18-minute mark. Reading got a free kick just outside of the area. Central position, Ian Hart, 34 years young, barely hammered it past Jason Steele into the back of the net, right in front of the 271 travelling Reading fans. These are heady days for the Royals. They've won here 2-0.
Yep, they go third this evening because Birmingham have been beaten, and what a win for Nottingham Forest this is. Andrew James.
Yes, indeed. Birmingham 1, Nottingham Forest 2. 2 lessons here, 2 things that can't be taken for granted. Birmingham's place in the promotion shake-up, and Nottingham Forest are by no means down and out. Dexter Blackstock, who's been out of action for 15 months after a broken leg last season, has come back into the side recently, and his 2 goals really were the difference. His first gave Forest the advantage, advantage. Chris Burke got a second half equaliser, and you fancied Birmingham to go on from there, but no, Dexter Blackstock took the ball on the end of his toe and poked it into the top corner of the net, and despite a couple of late efforts, including Keith Fahey hitting the angle of bar and post in stoppage time, there was no way back for Birmingham, and Forest's revival continues. Birmingham 1, Nottingham Forest 2.
West Ham held by Crystal Palace in the lunchtime game, finishing 0-0 at Upton Park. That means Southampton are back to the top of the Championship this evening. Jackie Oakley.
They are. Watford 0, Southampton 3. The Saints are going up with a chance from the Southampton supporters away to my right, because they're now a point clear of West Ham at the top of the table, but they have played a game more than them, and it's thanks to a hat-trick of hat-tricks from Ricky Lambert. It's now 23 for the season for him. The first, he looped a header over the strand at Kushak in the first half. He fired home the second from 20 yards after good work from Lallana, and the third in the second half he drilled home from the spot after Dickinson's foul on Lee. Cork almost made it 4 right to the death, but he lofted the ball just over the bar. Watford, though, didn't force a single save from Kelvin Davis all game. Watford 0, Southampton 3.
Quickly into the SPL, where Celtic have extended their lead over Rangers. Ian Turner.
20 consecutive domestic wins for Celtic, 17 straight SPL wins, 6 clean sheets on the trot, 23 points clear at the top of the SPL, and still in both cup competitions. At the moment, Neil Lennon's side isn't giving anyone else a look in. Motherwell made Celtic work for their win though here, and it took a sharp finish from Gary Cooper, his 20th goal of the season, to tie up the points. At the moment, Celtic can do no wrong. Celtic 1, Motherwell 0.
OK, just a quick reminder for you that Final Score is now on the BBC HD channel from 2:30 every Saturday, as well as the red button and on the brand new look BBC Sport website. Let's get the classified results now. Here's Mike West.
And starting with the Barclays Premier League, Chelsea 3, Bolton Wanderers 0. Manchester City against Blackburn Rovers is an evening kick-off at 5:30. Newcastle United 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Fulham 1. West Bromwich Albion 4, Sunderland 0. And Wigan Athletic 0, Aston Villa 0. In the Empire Championship, Birmingham City 1, Nottingham Forest 2. Brighton and Hove Albion 3, Ipswich Town 0. Bristol City 1, Blackpool 3. Burnley 1, Millwall 3. Coventry City 1, Barnsley 0. Doncaster Rovers 1, Peterborough United 1. Middlesbrough 0, Reading 2. Portsmouth 0, Leeds United 0. Watford 0, Southampton 3. And West Ham United 0, Crystal Palace 0. On to the Empire League 1, AFC Bournemouth 0, Milton Keynes Dons 1. Bury 1, Leyton Orient 1. Carlisle United 3, Yeovil Town 2. Charlton Athletic 2, Stevenage 0. Colchester United 0, Rochdale 0. Huddersfield Town 2, Exeter City 0. Notts County 1, Chesterfield 0. Oldham Athletic 1, Tranmere Rovers 0. Preston North End 0, Walsall 0 is a latest score. Scunthorpe United 0, Brentford 0. And Wycombe Wanderers 5, Hartlepool United 0. The Empire League 2, Aldershot Town 4, Barnet 1. Bradford City 1, Hereford United 1. Cheltenham Town 2, Burton Albion 0. Crewe Alexandra 3, AFC Wimbledon 3. Gillingham 2, Torquay United 0. Morecambe 1, Southend United 0. Northampton Town 1, Port Vale 2. Oxford United 1, Macclesfield Town 1. Plymouth Argyle 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. Rotherham United 0, Bristol Rovers 1. And Swindon Town 2, Accrington Stanley 0. In the Blue Square Bet Premier, Barrow 1, Forest Green Rovers 1. Bath City 1, Kidderminster 2. Braintree Town 2, Kettering Town 1. Ebbsfleet United 1, Southport 2. Fleetwood Town 4, Alfreton Town 0. Lincoln City 1, AFC Telford United 1. Mansfield Town 2, Tamworth 1. And Stockport County 1, Wrexham 0. Into Scotland and the Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League. Celtic 1, Motherwell 0. Hearts 0, Dundee United 2. Kilmarnock 1, Hibernian 3. St Johnstone 3, Dunfermline 1. And St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 1. The Iron Brew Scottish Division 1, Ayr United 3, Livingston 1. Dundee 1, Ross County 1. Falkirk 3, Queen of the South 0. Greenock Morton 1, Hamilton Academical 2. And Wraith Rovers 2, Partick Thistle 1. The Scottish Division 2, Albion Rovers 2, Forfar Athletic 2. Cowdenbeath 1, Brechin City 0. Dumbarton 4, Stirling Albion 1. East Fife 2, Airdrie United 0. And Stenhousemuir 1, Arbroath 3. The Scottish Division 3, Alloa Athletic 1, Clyde 0. Berwick Rangers 0, East Stirlingshire 2. Montrose 2, Elgin City 3. Peterhead 3, Annan Athletic 2. And Queen's Park 3, Stranraer 2. Finally, the Carling Premiership, Cliftonville 1, Linfield 3. Crusaders 2, Lisbon Distillery 2. Dungannon Swifts 2, Portadown 0. Glenavon 0, Ballymena United 2. And Glentoran 3, Coleraine 3.
One late kick-off. There you go. Empire League 1, Preston North End 0, Walsall 0. Okay, let's have a look at the tables after all those results. Manchester City can extend their lead to 5 points over Manchester United if they beat Blackburn in the tea time game. United are at Norwich tomorrow at the same time as Arsenal host Spurs. Wigan and Bolton still bottom of the pile, but Wolves are now out of the bottom 3, 16th after that comeback at Newcastle and Terry Connor's first game. QPR hover just above the relegation zone and could slip into it if Blackburn get anything at the Etihad later on. Southampton have reclaimed top spot in the Championship from West Ham after victory for them, while Sam Allardyce's side could only draw. Victories for Reading and Blackpool, so they go 3rd and 4th respectively. Birmingham fall 2 after their first defeat of 2012. At the bottom, Doncaster conceded a stoppage time equaliser and are now 6 points from safety. Portsmouth drew but slipped to 23rd after Coventry won. Nottingham Forest surprise win at Birmingham lifts them above Bristol City, both clubs 3 clear of trouble. Imperious Charlton strengthened their grip on League One with a 21st win of the season. Sheffield United go to Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow in a huge promotion encounter and a huge derby, of course. Huddersfield and the MK Dons both want to apply pressure on those two. Wycombe enjoyed an emphatic 5-0 win to get off the bottom of the table. They're replaced by Chesterfield. Rochdale also slipped below Wycombe. Walsall complete the relegation places. Swindon stay top and are celebrating a new club record 9th straight win. Cheltenham also won to stay on the coattails of Paolo Di Canio's side. Southend still occupy the final automatic promotion spot despite losing. Shrewsbury and Crawley meet on Monday night. Dagenham and Redbridge continue to prop up the Football League after a goalless draw against Plymouth, and Northampton stay in deep trouble following their home defeat to Port Vale. Fleetwood take advantage of a rare slip-up from Wrexham to open up a 5-point gap at the top. Fleetwood now unbeaten in 18 games in the league. Wrexham lost for only a 5th time this season. At the bottom, Bath were beaten and they stay 10 points from safety. Hayes and Yeading, Kettering and Alfreton complete the relegation places. And in the SPL, Celtic are now 23 points ahead of Rangers after beating Motherwell. Rangers take on Inverness tomorrow. St Johnstone and Dundee United are now both above Hearts. Dunfermline lost for an 18th time this season and now trail Hibs by 3 after they won at Kilmarnock. They're the tables. Now let's get the headlines from the Premier League today. Instant impact from new Wolves boss Terry Connor. His players had a real spring in their step after half-time. Goals from Matt Jarvis and Kevin Doyle getting them a point at Newcastle and dragging them out of the relegation zone. West London might be a no-go zone for Mark Hughes tonight. He was right under the microscope against his former club, but Moussa Dembele provided the chemistry for Pavel Pogrebniak to give Fulham a cute early winner. Samba Diakite sent off later on for QPR. Is the honeymoon period finally over for Martin O'Neill and Sunderland? Peter Odemwingie was the master of ceremonies for West Brom, and they married pretty pressure with goals galore at the Happy Hawthorns. And Roberto Martinez's side are still fighting manfully, but they need to start scoring goals, and that's no win in 11 now. Match of the day tonight on BBC One at 10:30. Football League show follows that at 11:45. But don't forget the Carling Cup final between Liverpool and Cardiff City, live from Wembley, 3 o'clock on BBC One tomorrow afternoon with Gary, the two Allens and Chris Coleman. There's also highlights at 11:05. And at 10 o'clock tomorrow evening, there's Match of the Day 2 on BBC Two. You've got Arsenal against Spurs, Norwich against Manchester United and Stoke against Swansea. Colin Murray and Lee Dixon will be joined in the studio by Alan Pardew and Paul Robinson. Right, let's get some reaction from Stamford Bridge, shall we? Chelsea 3, Bolton 0. Here's Andre Villas-Boas.
Andre, is it relief for the first win in 6 games or satisfaction, 3 goals, 3 points, back into the Champions League places?
Well, I think it's important for us to win after all these recent disappointments, and that was our focus, and that's what we set out our mind to try to win this game. We've been trying so hard and looking for this win for quite some time. Sometimes it has been in our hands and we let it slip away. Other times we just draw games that we dominate. But today we managed to do a great game and take the 3 points.
What did you have to say at half-time? Because you'd had all sorts of chances and hadn't scored. Were you at all concerned that this might be one of those games where all the chances are there but none of them go in?
I think my team talk was a repetition of the last 7 or 8, to be fair, because it's the boys have been really working hard and we play well in the first halves, but the opponent always manages to nick a goal in and puts us under pressure. But we've always been a team that creates a lot of opportunities. I mean, today in the second half we managed to find the efficiency that we haven't had in the last games. And makes a difference when we convert our chances into goals. It takes us to the 3 points.
Andre Villas-Boas smiling there. Motti at Stamford Bridge doing the game for Match of the Day. He's smiling and the old guard was scoring, Motti.
Well, absolutely. And what I was going to say, having just heard that interview, which he didn't mention, is he had a change of heart today, Mark, and brought Frank Lampard and Michael Essien back into the starting lineup. And in a way, that put the heart back into Chelsea, I thought. Essien stiffened the midfield, which was a bit flabby against Napoli, as you know. And Lampard brings so much imagination and direction, if you like, to the Chelsea attack. And you may know by now he's written his name into Premier League history. His goal today, Chelsea's third, meant that he's reached double figures for 9 consecutive seasons. Not bad for a midfield player, eh?
Not bad at all. And you promised earlier on that you'd be back after the game with some stats for us. We also heard from Jonathan Ledger doing the reports on Final Score that maybe Andres Villas-Boas wasn't quite as energetic on the touchline today. Do you think he reined himself in a bit?
Maybe. I think what happened, really, I think he was anxious in the first half, as Jonathan alluded to there, when Chelsea couldn't score. But the man that really changed the game, it was David Luiz, because he's been criticised so heavily for his defensive lack of concentration. Well, I tell you what, the first goal today, he made it and he scored it. It was beautifully done, and he showed what a good footballer he is coming forward. So I think once he'd put that ball in, I think Villas-Boas relaxed a bit, spent a bit of time time talking to Roberto Di Matteo, who everybody seems to have overlooked as his number 2 here. And in the end, Owen Coyle's team, we mustn't forget a word about Bolton. Their attitude is fine. They were stubborn in defence in the first half. But having said all that we've said about Chelsea, make no mistake about it, Mark, Bolton are really in a relegation dogfight.
They certainly are. Motti, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Diddy, you were mentioning earlier, you know, only takes a couple of results to change around people's perceptions and the mood, such as the short-termism of football at the moment.
Yeah, it's all about momentum. As we said before, crucial stage of the season. All the cup competition come to the end now. We're in the last 16 quarter-finals. And, as I said, 1 or 2 results can change everything. They're back in the top 4 now. They've got vital games against Birmingham and Napoli, but we shouldn't forget they're still a good team. They won the league 18 months ago. They've been champions of England. And I know that players are 18 months older. Sturridge come into the club. They've got some Ramirez come, Morelos. They've got some very good players at the football club. It's still a good football team. And if they've got their full-strength team, as I said before, I wouldn't be at all surprised if they go through into the last 8 against Napoli, and then things look different.
But what they've done, Garth, is they've beaten a side threatened with relegation at home, which many people would have expected them to do. So now they need to go on a run.
People talked about Villas-Boas being quiet. You mentioned it to Motti in the interview. He was quiet because the media tribune was completely full and packed because they were waiting for the story. If Bolton had have scored today, if there was a hint of Bolton getting the result, everybody would have been focused on Villas-Boas leaving Chelsea. It didn't happen. And John's right. John Motson's absolutely right. The moment Chelsea scored, everybody relaxed and they went on to play the football they know he can play. And it was a Chelsea side that looked like a Chelsea side. When Lampard's in that side, we all know what we're going to get. It's very direct and it's very simple. And perhaps at this stage in their season, that's what they need to do.
And when Lampard's in the side, then it makes Christine and his dad happy as well, as we saw. No doubt what the game of the day was at St James's Park. Wolves 2 down at half-time to Newcastle. Steve Bauer, we know now that Terry Connor can deliver a team talk then.
I've no idea what he said, Mark, at half-time. He needed to have stern words, that is for sure. But whatever he said and however he got his players going, they were magnificent in the second half. A huge turnaround, because I've just actually spoken to a couple of Wolves fans here in the corporate boxes at Newcastle, and they said we would have taken 2-0 at half-time and gone home. That was the way the game was going. Possibly Newcastle were a little bit complacent. They scored a terrific goal through Gutierrez. But after the last fortnight, Wolves could have easily crumbled and gone home with a tail between their legs. But as you rightly said, whatever Terry Connor said, they got such a positive start to the second half. A little break, admittedly, with Jarvis's shot deflecting off Danny Simpson. But when you're down there and when you've had the fortnight that they've had, that's exactly what you need. And from that moment on, it looked as though the belief came back into Wolves. They certainly were on the front foot with a much more positive frame of mind. And you sensed that they were going to score again, and they did. And I think it was fitting that Kevin Doyle got it as well, because there was a real togetherness and spirit about Wolves in the second half, and they're going to need that in the next 12 games as well. But Kevin Doyle really epitomised it. No Fletcher today. Remember, they've done this without their leading goal scorer, 10-goal Stephen Fletcher. Doyle up there on his own. He covered every blade of grass, and it was a really instinctive finish inside the 6-yard box to get it to 2-2. Newcastle tried to change it, but in all honesty, a couple of shots from Ben Arfa off target. Apart from that, Wolves didn't look in any danger. In fact, you sensed when they broke that they could have gone one better and got the 3 points. But I think it feels like a win for Wolves to come from 2 down here. Remember, Newcastle have only lost twice at home all season. The likes of Manchester United and Arsenal haven't won here. Wolves have got a big point here today. And for Terry Connor, it's a really positive start in management. And after the 2 weeks they've had and all the negative publicity, at last something positive and on the pitch to talk about.
Steve, thank you very much. Very positive. And it wasn't a Mick McCarthy team with Terry Connor in charge. It was a Terry Connor team.
Yeah, he dropped Roger Johnson, the captain. He wasn't in the starting lineup. After 80 minutes, people probably thought he made the wrong move because Berra made a bad mistake. He gives the ball away after 6 minutes, loses the ball. They concede a goal. They concede another one with a fantastic strike from Gutierrez. And I don't think there was too much in the first half. There wasn't too much in it. Doyle had a couple of chances, but they went in 2-0 down at half-time. They come back even stronger. They kept trying. And I think what was more important to see after the game, they were shaking hands with him. And they look, he's got the respect of everybody, Terry Connor, and I think that was the main thing.
Your result of the day, very quickly?
Without any shadow of doubt, Doyle was outstanding, and so was Terry Connor.
OK, we will have more reaction on the red button. If you want, you can ring us on 606 as well on 5 Live from 606. But if you're leaving us on BBC Two, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.